Hey, it's Carl again. All right, so thanks for stopping by. Today I wanted to take a minute to talk with you a little bit about the top 10 reasons why new realtors fail. Okay? Now, I've been in the business 16 years, and I've seen a lot of things go on. And I can tell you there are 10 real big reasons why I have found a lot of people, really 8 out of 10, fail in the first 18 months. Okay? So if you've got a pen and paper, let me go through them with you really quickly and share with you the reasons why I feel most people fail. And then in a subsequent issue, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the top 10 reasons why realtors will succeed. All right, that way you can take what other people have done, all right, that have not worked out for them, that's caused them to fail, and move away from that, and then go ahead and find the things, the traits, the characteristics that the people who do succeed, and model yourself after them, and then you can hopefully increase your chances to succeed in this business. Okay, so number one, I'd like you to write down, number one, it's the I'm going to just try this attitude. Okay, now look, this is a big business. All right, real estate is so big. Okay, you can do anything from investments. You could do multifamilies, you could do residential, you could do commercial, you could do land, you could do this, you could do that. I mean, the possibilities are endless of all the things that you could possibly do, okay? And it's almost impossible to know, well, it is impossible as far as I'm concerned, to know everything there is to know about real estate, okay? Now, it's the agent that comes in that says, I'm just going to dabble in this and see if it works, and if it works, maybe I'll stay, okay? That's the agent that's going to have a real tough time surviving in this business. There's a story of Cortez when he reached the New World, okay? He burned his ships, okay? And the reason why was so that people in his, in his troops and his sailors didn't have any options. They had to make it work. And the same thing goes for you. You have to cut off your options and make it to where you have no other option but to succeed in real estate. If real estate is an option for you, then it's going to be real tough. The second reason, okay, is that they do not do the daily tasks it takes to get results, okay? Now, in real estate, it's true that you are a independent contractor, okay? And that you are here to set your own hours and you don't have your own boss and this and that. But it's the very freedom that you have there that will kill you, all right? So it's important to understand that there are certain daily things that you must do every day in order to succeed, okay? Some of those things include prospecting. In one form or another, you have got to get new business. You've got to talk to people. You've got to write contracts, make presentations, negotiate, and do it all over again. Those are the things that are the core principles that you have to do to succeed in this business. And the new agents that fail, those are the things that they don't do, and that's why. Okay. The third thing is they procrastinate on items to complete to succeed. So for example, if you were to come and work with me on my team, okay, day one, the first thing that you have to do, you have to go ahead and build a center of influence list, okay? Because I want you contacting the people that you work with in the past, the people that you know, because those are the people you're going to feel comfortable with. But then if you procrastinate and you don't do that, you don't create that list, you're only setting yourself up for failure. And the reason why is because you've made it to where a situation exists where you're not talking to the people you knew before, you're not talking to the people you don't know, you're not talking to anybody. And is it any wonder then why you fail? So instead, you go out and you try and find a magic bullet, you try to find some magic system, you try to find some thing that will allow you to succeed without doing the tasks it takes. Procrastination will kill you, all right? Number 4, they jump to another method or training. They jump from one thing to the other, okay? Now, a perfect example of that is your real estate gurus, okay? And it doesn't matter if it's in real estate or if it's in real estate investing or if it's in, any kind of sales job, you have a guru or 2 or 3 or 10, okay? And each one of them have their own style that they preach, okay? Now, I have always been a big believer in the Mike Ferry system, okay? And I stuck with that system for a very long period of time, all right? And I have felt that that has been the most cohesive way to learn how to sell real estate. But I have seen a lot of people go from, say, Floyd Wickman for a month or two, to Mike Ferry, to Brian Buffini, to, by referral only, to Tom Ferry, to, Joe Blow and Susie Smith and, Dan Kennedy and all these other people. And they'll go from month to month to month and just trying to find different things. The problem is that learn one thing and get really good at it. And then once you get good at it, then expand into something else. Okay? So for example, if you want to do residential resale property, okay, and you want to list property, and you decide you're going to be a listing agent, go out and learn how to take a listing. Go out and learn how to take listings, make listing presentations, handle objections, and all those things. Okay, learn how to do that well. And then later on, if you decide you want to get into land or if you want to get into commercial or something along those lines, then you can go ahead and move into that. But this senseless jumping around back and forth into things does nothing but confuse your mind and lose focus. And you have to have a lot of focus in this business, because if you don't have focus on what you're doing at hand, you'll cost the client a lot of money, you'll cost yourself a lot of time, and in the end, you're not going to be good at anything. The statement of jack of all trades, master of none is certainly apropos here. All right. The next, they look at obstacles as roadblocks. Okay. The people who consistently fail in this business, all right, look at the obstacles in their way as roadblocks. Okay. So a good example of that would be like the do not call list. All right. A lot of people look at that and say, oh my God, I can't call people because it's the do not call list and I'll get fined $11,000. Oh my God. Okay? And that's immediately where they stop. They stop thinking about it. Well, if you start thinking, okay, there is no law against you going up and knocking on the expired's door. There's no law saying you can't go to a for sale by owner and knock on their door. There's no law going, saying that you can't, do a survey. Surveys are completely legitimate. Okay? If you want to do a survey of all the for sale by owners in the area to figure out who's really for sale and who's not, what their prices are and what they won't be, what they'll take, what they won't take, there's nothing wrong with that. And you're not breaking the law. Another perfect example would be something like, saying that you can't go out and do listing presentations because people only want to meet at night. And, you've got kids. Okay? That's an obstacle. It's not something that's permanent. I can't tell you the last time I went on a listing presentation in the middle of the night. Most of the listing presentations I go on are during the day, all right? And the reason why is because I've structured my day so that I'm dealing with people during daylight hours. But the people who fail in this business, they go out and they find reasons why things won't work, as opposed to finding ways to make them work, okay? Number 6, they're not willing to dive in and tackle a problem, okay? As soon as a problem comes up in a transaction, they throw their hands up and they say, oh my God, this doesn't work, why try that? And then they just quit. They go back to the job, they go back to their grind, 9 to 5 in corporate America, and eventually, okay, they're miserable, okay? Look, if you're in this business, you will have problems. It just is a matter of fact, okay? Just a quick example, we have a property that we were working on that we did an appraisal on, and the appraiser came back, it's FHA, and for whatever reason, he didn't say there was any problem with the fact that it didn't have a stove. I don't know why. He didn't say anything about it, so fine, no problem. And then 2 weeks later on a different property, we have a guy who comes in, same type of appraisal, same mortgage company, comes in, rips us a new one because it doesn't have a microwave hood, it doesn't have an oven, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have, there's no consistency, okay? So you could throw your hands up and say, oh hell, this doesn't work, okay? But instead, you dive into the problem and figure out a way to make it work, okay? And that's the big difference also. Number 7, they let fear stop them from taking action, okay? Fear is I heard a great acronym for it. Fear is false expectations appearing real, okay? Look, there is going to be an element of fear when you're writing a contract, you've never written it before, or you're maybe showing homes and you don't know what to say. You're not sure if the price is right. You're not sure if you're going to be doing the right things. What do you do? What do you say if you're talking to the seller on the phone and they say they don't want to hire an agent? I mean, there's a lot of fear, and that stops them from taking action. Okay? This is an action-oriented business. You've heard of the law of attraction. Okay? And the law of attraction, as it was promoted by The Secret, is where you think about all the good things and the vibrations and all the things come back to you. And I think to a certain extent, I think that's probably true. But I'm also a huge believer in the law of action. Okay? You got to break an egg to make an omelet. All right? You got to go out there and you got to make things happen sometimes. And sometimes, just by the mere fact that you're out in the public, knocking on doors, dropping off flyers, talking to people on the phone, things start to happen. Okay? And the fear that you have, okay, if you allow it to stop you, then you will not succeed. Okay? So fear stops them from doing the actions. The next, number 8, they do not do the marketing it takes to get enough leads. All right? Now, it doesn't matter what kind of marketing you do. If you're marketing at an open house, if you're writing letters, if you're sending postcards, if you're on the phone, if you're doing, sign calls, you're not doing enough stuff to bring in the leads you need. Okay? Look, let's just face it. This is a leads-oriented business. If you don't have enough leads, you will not survive. Okay? You have got to find people who want to buy and sell every single day. All right? There's somebody who's going to buy. There's somebody who's going to sell. Your job, get in the middle and make it happen. That's your job in a nutshell. And the problem is that they don't do enough marketing, or they don't do enough prospecting, or whatever you want to call it, to get enough leads to make it happen. Okay? Number 9, they do not further their education. Now, I'm a big believer in this. All right? I can't tell you how many thousands upon thousands of dollars I spent on my personal education. I'm not a smart guy. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Okay? I didn't go to college. I'm just, I went in the military, and that's about it. And then I came out and sold real estate. Okay? The fact is that I had to spend a lot of time and money with people who knew what to do, who taught me how to do this business. You have to do the same thing. You have to be willing to go ahead and either spend the time or the money or both, okay, to further your education. If you start thinking that you know it all, you've got it down pat, you're good, then that's when the danger comes. Because when this market changed, all right, when 2005, when things started really going bad, okay, a lot of agents found out that they didn't know quite as much as they thought they did, okay? Warren Buffett has a great saying. He says, when the tide goes out, okay, you can see who's wearing swimming trunks. The meaning of that statement is simply this, that when things go bad, okay, you can really see at that point the core of someone, okay? Now, at least that's what it means to me. When the market was really, really good, everybody was a genius and everybody was doing well. Everybody knew everything there was to know about selling real estate, okay? Of course, it's easy then. But then when the market turns and it's harder to sell real estate, homes aren't selling as fast, okay? Then you got to get creative and you got to work. And then you start seeing people drop by the wayside, and that's why. It's because they don't have enough energy, they don't have enough knowledge, they don't have enough education to know what to do. And that's why it's important for you to take the time and take the money, whatever it takes, to get the education you need so that you will survive in this market. Okay? And then number 10, they don't persist through obstacles. Okay? Now this is similar to number 5. All right? They look at roadblocks as obstacles as roadblocks, but you see, there's an element of persistence here. Okay? That you have to have. It's this inner desire, this burning feeling that no matter what it takes, I will make it happen. Now, I'm not going to tell you right here and now that I was successful my whole career. I can't tell you that I'm a multimillionaire. I can't tell you that I'm a bazillionaire or I've got everything on lock. I can't tell you that at all. But what I can tell you is this, that no matter what it is, I will succeed in this business regardless of what it takes. Now, there have been times where I have had to personally go out and get a pizza job. All right, I was delivering pizzas. I'm not ashamed. I delivered pizzas at night. I was a bouncer at a club one time. I was, I was a bouncer at a club. I was delivering pizzas. I was delivering papers. You know, during the summertime, during the wintertime sometimes when it wasn't working out too well, you know, I would have to pick up second jobs to make it happen. But it's because I wanted this job so much, because I wanted this dream so much, that despite the obstacles, I would persist and I would find a way to make it happen. Now, quick story, just to close this off. So here I am, a bouncer at a club, okay? I remember really well, it was pretty embarrassing. So I'm a bouncer at a club, okay? And probably, I think it was like my first or second listing, I don't remember which. And next thing I know, this person comes up to me and says, "Hey, aren't you my realtor?" And sure enough, it was my listing lady, my client, in the club. I've got the club's, you know, shirt on with their with their logo, and it's clear that I'm a bouncer. And she says, "Aren't you my realtor?" And it's like, "Yep, I sure am," you know. And the thing was that it was very embarrassing. Okay, it was. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know exactly what to say. I ended up selling the house. She didn't care. She was probably plastered. She didn't recognize or remember it anyway the next day. But the fact is, okay, that I didn't let that fear, I didn't let that, you know, obstacle get in my way. I kept persisting, and you have to do the same thing. In order to get your goals, in order to get your dream, you have to be willing to do anything and everything it takes. This has to be the number one thing in your life. Now, I don't mean get rid of your kids, your husband, or your wife, but what I do mean is, in order for you to be successful in this business, you've got to want it. Because if you don't want it, okay, you're not going to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you won't do what it takes. So, I hope you enjoyed this, the 10 reasons why new realtors fail. And now we'll look at some of the 10 reasons why realtors succeed. And I think you'll really enjoy that too. Thanks for sitting in with me today. You have a wonderful selling day. Take care. Bye-bye.